There are moments in life when a woman touches you, not with her hands, but with something deeper. Something she's too afraid to say out loud. And sometimes it all begins with a simple hug. A hug that feels different. A hug that lingers. A hug that silently asks, "Do you feel this too?" Most men overlook this moment. They shrug it off, laugh it away, or assume it means nothing. But what if a woman's hug is the one place she hides the truth she can't speak? What if that single embrace is her confession, her vulnerability, her unspoken desire, or her quiet cry for safety? Tonight, you will finally understand the message behind that hug. The message meant only for you. If you're watching this, comment your location and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing insights. When a woman hugs you, most men assume it's just a gesture, a moment of closeness, a polite greeting, or something she does without thinking. But the truth is deeper. Human beings rarely touch without meaning, and women, especially emotionally intuitive women, express far more through their physical behavior than they do through their words. A hug becomes the place where she reveals her emotional temperature, her level of safety, and in many cases, the truth she hopes you notice without her having to verbalize it. You see, emotional expression is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, soft, almost invisible, and yet it carries the weight of everything she truly wants you to understand. When a woman hugs you, she is revealing her intent through her energy, her body language, the way she holds you, and the small shifts in how she relaxes or tenses in your presence. These micro expressions are not accidental. They are windows into her inner world. Most men only see the surface. They interpret the hug as one single action, arms around the body. But women experience it emotionally. She feels how safe she is in your space. She feels whether you are grounded, distracted, hesitant, confident, or unsure. She notices the way your breathing changes and whether you respond to her presence, whether your energy welcomes her or simply tolerates her, and simply tolerates her. And because she is biologically wired to read these emotional cues, she expresses her intention in a way that bypasses the mind and goes straight into the body. This is why some hugs feel warm and genuine, while others feel distant or rushed. She's telling you how she feels about the connection without needing to explain it. When a woman initiates a hug, she's not just touching your body. She's testing the emotional environment. She wants to know, am I safe here? Am I valued here? Do I matter here? Many women will never say these words out loud, but every part of the embrace asks these questions silently. And when she exhales deeply in your arms, that is not random. It means she feels relief, comfort, or emotional release. That sigh is a sign that being near you brings her peace. On the other hand, when she tenses up, keeps her body stiff, or hesitates to lean fully into the hug, she may be protecting herself, holding back, or trying not to send the wrong message. The body always tells the truth before the mouth ever does. There are also hugs that last longer than they need to. These are the moments men often misinterpret or overlook entirely. When she lingers, she's allowing the moment to stretch because she doesn't want the connection to end too fast. She is feeling something: warmth, appreciation, attachment, or emotional curiosity. Women do not hold on to what feels unsafe. They do not extend time with someone they feel indifferent toward. So when she stays just a little longer, that little moment is her way of saying, "There's more here. Can you feel it? Pay attention to the subtleties." Does she bury her head slightly into your shoulder? That's emotional vulnerability. Does she wrap both arms firmly around you? That's trust. Does she gently rub your back or squeeze you before pulling away? That's affection. Does she hug you with one arm, barely touching you? That's distance. A hug is not simply physical contact. It's an emotional signal coded in the form of pressure, aeration, posture, and energy. And this is where men often miss the message. You don't need to overthink it, decode it like a mathematical formula, or assume she's confessing love. But you need to become aware. Awareness is what separates a man who moves through relationships blindly from a man who understands how women communicate beneath their words. Most women have learned through experience that speaking openly about their feelings doesn't always lead to understanding. So instead, they express emotionally, through tone, through presence, and yes, through touch. A hug is one of the few moments where all the masks drop. Nobody is pretending. Nobody is performing. For those few seconds, the truth is between you, and if you slow down enough to feel what she's really giving you, you will understand her in a way most men never do. Think about the last time a woman hugged you differently. The last time it felt like she was holding on to something she was too afraid to say. The last time her hug carried more emotion than the conversation she had minutes before. Those moments are not random. They are emotional footprints. And emotional footprints tell you everything about where she stands and where she hopes you can meet her. Learning to read these signals doesn't make you manipulative or suspicious. It makes you emotionally intelligent. It allows you to connect with women not from a place of confusion, but from a place of clarity. She's not hiding her feelings from you. She's inviting you. She hopes you're paying in a language. She hopes you're paying in this pritz. She hopes you're paying attention to. And if you truly want to understand a woman, start with the way she hugs you. Her arms may be around your body, but her truth is wrapped around your soul. Because sometimes the message she's afraid to speak is the message she's hoping you're wise enough to feel. When you think about a hug, you might imagine it as one universal physical gesture. But in reality, not all hugs speak the same emotional language. Women are attentional when it appears spontaneous, and use heart to speak, even when it appears spontaneous. A woman's hug is rarely just a hug. It's a form of communication, a signal about how deeply she connects with you, and more importantly, how much she trusts you. And because trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, romantic or otherwise, the type of hug she gives you reveals the level of emotional safety she feels in your presence. You've probably noticed that some hugs feel casual, almost like a formality, while others feel intimate or grounding. Most men treat these differences as random or harmless, but a woman does not vary her physical closeness without reason. She calibrates her distance and her embrace based on the relationship, the moment, and her emotional comfort with you. It's psychological, it's subconscious, and it's deeply revealing. Take the side hug, for example, the classic one-arm tap, the shoulder-to-shoulder lean. This kind of hug isn't a rejection, but it's a boundary. It tells you she's comfortable with you at a surface level, but she isn't emotionally open. She respects you, she acknowledges you, but there is still a protective layer between you and the vulnerable parts of her. She's keeping the connection safe, polite, and non-committal. Many men misunderstand this and try to force closeness, but a wise man observes the boundary and lets trust evolve naturally. Then there's the heart-to-heart hug, the kind where she brings her chest gently toward yours, aligning your heart space with hers. Only a woman who feels genuinely safe will offer this type of embrace. This is a moment where both bodies speak without words, acknowledging a connection that feels honest, grounding, and mutual. When she chooses this type of hug, she's saying, "I see you. I trust you. You are safe for me." Emotional intimacy begins here, long before any romantic dialogue ever enters the picture. Some women give playful, energetic hugs, squeezes, lifts, or spins. Those aren't random bursts of physical affection. They reveal her emotional excitement around you, her comfort, her inner child surfacing because she feels free to be herself in your presence. She doesn't do this with men she distrusts or men who drain her emotionally. This kind of hug shows you she feels alive, valued, and light when she's around you. It signals emotional compatibility, it signals joy. And then there are the rare, quiet hugs. The kind where she holds you gently, no rush, no tension, just a steady calm. These hugs happen when a woman feels deeply connected to you, even if the relationship is undefined. It's a moment of emotional stillness. She trusts you with her silence. She trusts you with her vulnerability. She trusts you with the parts of her that don't need words. When a woman hugs you like this, she's telling you you matter in a way that even she may not be ready to articulate. But here's the part most men never think about. The hug she gives you is often shaped by the emotional space you create for her. A woman won't offer a hug that feels energetically unsafe. She won't lean into a man whose presence feels unstable or unpredictable. Women read emotional cues faster and more accurately than we think. If she feels judged, misunderstood, or emotionally unseen, her hug will reflect that. It will be quick, distant, or purely mechanical. It's not disrespect, it's self-protection. This is why emotional intelligence is one of the most attractive traits a man can develop. When a woman senses emotional awareness, calmness, and authenticity in your presence, her body relaxes, her hugs soften, and her connection with you deepens. You become a safe space, not because you try to be one, but because you embody it. The truth is simple. A woman's hug is a mirror. It reflects the level of emotional freedom she feels around you. It reflects her trust, her boundaries, her fears, her comfort, and her desire for connection. And if you pay attention, if you slow down enough to observe, not judge, not assume, but observe, you will understand her in a way that most men never take the time to do. Some men spend years trying to decode a woman's words, yet miss the clearest signals in her actions. Her hug tells you whether she sees you as a friend, a safe space, a potential partner, or simply a passing acquaintance, a blessed passing acquaintance. It tells you whether she's protecting herself or letting herself be seen. It tells you whether she's holding back or opening up. These are the emotional fingerprints she leaves on the moment. A man who understands these signals doesn't rush. He doesn't push. He doesn't assume. He pays attention. He respects her boundaries. He honors her openness. He builds trust through consistency, calmness, and presence. Because trust is not something you ask for. It's something you earn through the emotional environment you create. So the next time a woman hugs you, don't dismiss it as something small or insignificant. Pay attention to the type of hug she gives you. Pay attention to the distance, the pressure, the warmth, the silence, the energy. She's telling you exactly where she stands, and sometimes exactly where she hopes to stand with you, because in the end, the way she hugs you is the way she feels you, and the way she feels you is the truth you cannot afford to ignore. Most people pay attention to how a hug begins, but the truth is revealed in how it ends. The moment she starts to pull away carries more psychological information than the entire embrace itself. Women often communicate in subtleties, not because they're trying to hide anything, but because they're trained, by experience, by society, by instinct, to be careful with their emotions. So the end of the hug becomes the place where her inner truth slips la woman released and unguarded. When a woman use something she may never, she's tell a set where warrior Samaria tarity and be nevered. A slow pull away means she isn't ready to disconnect from the moment. There's something in your presence she wants to hold on to, a sense of comfort, attraction, emotional grounding, or security. It's her way of letting the moment breathe. She's savoring the closeness, even if her mind is telling her to be composed. That hesitation exposes emotional investment. She might not even realize she's doing it, but her body does, and the body never lies. And then there's the look she gives you afterward. Eye contact, or the lack of it, speaks volumes. When she looks at you softly after the hug, when her eyes linger for just a second too long, that is emotional honesty. That's a woman silently saying, I felt that. Eye contact after physical closeness is one of the strongest indicators of emotional openness. She doesn't fear being seen by you. In fact, she wants to be seen. That tiny pause, those few seconds, are often more truthful than a full conversation. But when she looks away quickly, avoids your eyes, or immediately shifts into a different emotion, it doesn't always mean rejection. Sometimes it means the hug made her feel something she wasn't prepared to confront. Women often hide strong feelings behind busy hands, nervous laughter, or quick changes in posture. If she breaks eye contact fast, she might be overwhelmed, not necessarily uninterested. You don't judge it, you simply notice it. Emotional awareness is not about jumping to conclusions. It's about reading the room with maturity. Now pay attention to the physical spacing after the hug. Does she step back slowly? Still facing you? Still present? That's emotional willingness. She's maintaining the connection even after the embrace is over. Her body language says, I'm here. I'm not running away. I feel safe. But if she steps back instantly, creates distance, or turns her body away, it's either a boundary or a form of self-protection. Again, not always negative. Sometimes she's being careful with her feelings, or she doesn't want to send a message she's not ready to express. Every woman has her own emotional rhythm, but the end of the hug is always the place where her truth gets revealed, because in that exact moment, she's no longer performing politeness. She's reacting. And reactions come from instinct, not intention. You might also notice that some women give a small squeeze at the end of the hug before they release you. That squeeze is important. That is a signal of care, warmth, or emotional affirmation. It's a micro gesture that says, this moment meant something to me. She doesn't do this with people she feels nothing for. The squeeze is the closest she comes to saying, don't misunderstand this. I appreciate you. I value you. Sometimes she pulls away with a soft smile. Not a big smile, not a polite grin, but a subtle, meaningful smile that appears naturally. That smile is vulnerability. It means the hug touched her emotionally. It's her heart showing through her face. And if you catch it, don't dismiss it as coincidence. Moments like that are emotional fingerprints. Unique, unintended, and revealing. Here's the deeper truth. Women often communicate the things they can't voice at the end of the hug. If she's unsure about the relationship, you'll feel the hesitation. If she's developing feelings, you'll notice the softness. If she feels deeply connected, you'll feel it in her lingering presence. If she's conflicted, her body will give her away. And if she's building emotional attachment, her energy will shift in a way that only someone paying attention can notice. This is why emotional sensitivity is not weakness. It's intelligence. Most men are so focused on trying to be the perfect version of themselves that they miss the real communication happening right in front of them. But a man who listens, not just with his ears, but with his intuition, becomes a man who understands women with a clarity that changes every relationship for the better. And this level of awareness doesn't just help you read women. It helps you show up with more presence, depth, and emotional maturity. When you observe how she ends the hug, you learn not only how she feels, but how to respond in a way that respects her pace, her emotions, and her boundaries. You move with intention instead of confusion. You connect with understanding instead of guesswork. Because the end of a hug is not the end of the moment. It's the truth of the moment. It's where everything she didn't say becomes visible. And if you learn to read that truth, you'll never again be confused about where you stand with a woman. So slow down, pay attention. Don't just feel her arms, feel her message, because sometimes the moment she lets go is the moment she finally reveals what she's been holding inside.